Hi, welcome back. Today's quote is a gentle reminder for the week ahead. Growth is not always immediately obvious, nor is it visible, measurable, or linear. Allow yourself a moment of stillness to embrace the duality of being both a masterpiece and a work in progress. The important thing is you are moving forward. I love that because I love the idea of continuous improvement. I feel like we've never completed life, we've never completed health and fitness. And I think a lot of people look for an end date and they think, like, I'll be happy when, I'll, feel good when, whereas we get to feel good during the process. And just because you maybe haven't dropped that dress size or reached that certain goal weight, or maybe you haven't hit that strength goal or that running goal that you wanted yet, doesn't mean you are not making progress. Progress is not always, growth is not always visible, measurable, or linear. We go through like a journey to get to our goals, and that's good. We need to like embrace it and feel glad that we get to strive for goals. Like, I feel really grateful that I get to focus on always improving myself, and that's like a luxury that I get to think about that, because a lot of people don't, for whatever reason. So yeah, allow yourself a moment of stillness to embrace the duality of being both a masterpiece and a work in progress. Like, you are enough as you are perfect, you are, you're enough. But you also do get to be more. Like, you're a masterpiece as you are, but you're also a work in progress. You can be both at the same time. And I'm a big believer that you can't hate yourself into change. Like, when I saw health, fitness, nutrition as like a negative, as a restrictive, as a poor me, as a punishment, I didn't get results and I didn't enjoy the process. Whereas when I see it as an empowering thing, something that I get to do, something that I'm grateful to do, and something that is actually quite a luxury, that I get to feed myself these lovely foods, and that I get to, go to the gym and work hard, like, I see it as a positive thing. The whole experience is more positive and it's easier to get long-term results. A couple of things. So I'm in a different room, so I know the echo is not great in here. Too many hard surfaces, but I'm recording it a little bit late and I know Fran's going to come in. So, and also the living room is messy. I'm one messy bitch this week. And yeah, I'm feeling fugly. So I had a little self-care day afternoon on Friday. I got my hair done, so I've got some new bangs. I've literally just Dysoned my hair, which has honestly never ever gone this well before. So I got some new like wow products. Apparently that's helpful, and I'm feeling fugly because I got microneedling on Friday. And that phase after a facial where you just feel grim. Well, that's where I'm at right now, which is why I blew my hair, because I was like, I'm not pressing record unless I do something that makes me feel a little bit better. So I've trained today. I had greasy hair, so I've just washed, blew my hair, and that makes up for the fugly feeling that I'm having on my face today. Okay, so that's enough about me. Let's go through our check-in. So we are here for our community check-in. I'm going to share a couple of wins from the community, and then I'm going to share a couple of struggles, and we've got a handful of questions. All of the women that I speak about in today's episode and every other episode are real people. I don't make anything up. I don't need to. I've got plenty of people engaging in these. If you want to be a part of the community, click the link in the show notes. We do have our gym in Mughal outside Liverpool. Or if you want to join an online community where you're surrounded by women and supported by women who want to live healthier, happier, more confident lives without sucking all of the fun out of life, and women who are busy and have real lives and don't want to count every single fucking calorie, and don't want to spend 7 days a week in the gym, and 15k step targets just aren't doable. If you want a real sustainable way to feel better, look better, and to be better, then click the link in the show notes and find out more about joining. So wins, we've got Jess. So Jess had a few weeks where she was really struggling, and she's really dug deep, and she's said that she's lost just over a pound this week, and she's feeling back in the zone and on track to lose a couple of pounds in time for her holiday, which is amazing. We've got Emma, who finally got back to the gym. It's the first time since November. She's been doing home workouts instead, so there was a lot going on at home. Going to the gym just wasn't possible, so she adapted and she was doing home workouts instead. Now she's in the gym and she's feeling great for it, so well done, Emma. Nikki said she had a stressful week, but she managed to stay on track. We all know that stress can throw us off, okay? Stress throws me off. I had one hell of a week last week, girls, let me tell you. Gym ownership is not for the faint-hearted. My ceiling was falling down at one point. I have many a meltdown. Clearly, I don't show them. I'm not going to show up on Instagram crying. Like, that's just not my way. But I have many a meltdowns. I do have a stressful life, and I'm definitely a million miles away from what I used to be. I deal with it much better. I know what I need to do. I take time away from work, time away from my phone. I tell people when I'm struggling rather than just letting myself ruminate all the time. I lean on my team, I lean on Fran, my mum, and stress is not uncommon in my life. But one thing that I refuse to do anymore is let stress get in the way of my health, because if I'm stressed and then I eat shit so I don't show up for myself with my nutrition, and then maybe I skip the gym, I only feel more disappointed in myself. I only feel more frustrated because I'm like, yes, I'm stressed and I don't feel good, but I'm not making myself feel any better for not doing any of the things that I need to do to take care of my body. If I comfort eat, I don't beat myself up and I don't feel guilty. I just energy wise and mood wise feel even lower. Our bodies, our brains, we need nourishing food and we need movement when you're stressed. Like back in the day, years ago, if I was really, really stressed, if I was having a hard week, I would literally just lock myself in a room and rock, or I would just be scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and numbing myself completely. Whereas now I'm like, no, the phone needs to go away. That only makes it worse. I need to get myself up and make me food. I need to listen to happy music, and I need to get in that fucking gym, whether I like it or not. And I know, Nikki, you having a stressful week and continuing to show up for yourself, I know you'll feel proud of that, and I know that will have it would have made you feel better overall across the week, whereas if you'd have sabotaged, you would have felt worse off. So this is a really important lesson that I learned with opening a business and getting to the point where I am now. I don't let that stress defeat me. I'm on this mission to be the best version of myself, and I can't let the stresses of life, which everyone has, by the way. I don't know anyone with an easy life. I work with well over 200 women. Everyone's got their reasons for being overwhelmed, being stressed, being anxious, or whatever it is. Okay, some situations are worse than others, but we all have an excuse. Everyone has an excuse, and we all have a reason to not do something. What we need to look for is the reasons to do it. We need to make sure that we show up even when it feels hard. You don't decide to not brush your teeth for a week because you're having a stressful week. You don't decide to just not turn up to work, or not look after your kids or look after your dog. Like, we all do things we find hard every single day. Every single day we do things that we find difficult, and so just keep leaning towards them and keep showing up for yourself. It honestly will make the stress easier, and I'm saying that from experience. Okay, Penny said she's learning to live her life while eating healthy and exercising. That is the best thing that any woman could ever say to me. I hate when women stop living their lives for a certain goal, and I totally get it. There's coaches out there who will help you get six-pack, shredded lean. They will tell you to not go for a meal, not drink any alcohol. They'll tell you to do whatever it takes, that you should be hungry, and that you need to just dig deep and carry on. There's a place for coaches like that. I'm not dissing them. They have a whole different vibe than I do. My whole way of doing things is helping women love health and fitness. And if I want you to be consistent, not just 12 weeks from now, but 12 months from now, I can't stop you from living your life. I need you to live your life, and I need you to learn how to do it. So I need you to learn how to navigate meals out. I need you to learn how to navigate alcohol. I need you to learn how to navigate a hangover. I need you to know what to do, how to, order when someone drops a last minute meal on you, or if you want to celebrate your friend's birthday with them. I will never be the coach to say, why are you going on that night out? Why did you go for that brunch? I might question your choices within the occasion, particularly if your goal is fat loss. but I'm not going to tell you to stop living your life. Reason being is, one, I stopped living my life and I hated my life for it. And just because I got abs didn't mean I was any more happy or any more confident. I realised that there's a lot more to life than literally being skin and bone. And two, I'm about sustainable results. And so anybody can tell you to stop living life and you'll get a six pack. I could coach anybody to a six pack right now by telling them to stop living life. But I value joy. I value quality of life. I value every single one of my clients spending time with their friends, with their family, and to not have a poor relationship with food, because restricting and banning things often causes this poor relationship with food that I have seen time and time again. So this is like music to my ears, Penny. I am learning to live my life while eating healthy and exercising. I'm not putting my life on hold to get healthier and fitter. Unreal. We don't need to put our life on hold. Like, there are coaches who will tell you to do that, but it's not what I believe we need to do. Okay, so this is a really interesting topic that somebody has raised. All the struggles and the questions are completely anonymous and never name anyone. So just so you know, next time if anyone wants to fill a form in, struggles and questions are always anonymous. So I've been wondering whether there is such a thing as maintenance of muscle once you reach a physique you're happy with. Do you always need to keep pushing PBs and growing muscle, or can you reach a point where you maintain your muscle in the same way you maintain your weight? This is the bit that I don't really love, but I'm going to read it out anyway. I have seen celebrities whose physique I admire share workouts where they are not lifting as heavy as people in our gym. Okay, so let's talk about this. First of all, is there such a thing of maintenance of muscle once you reach a physique you're happy with? Yes. Okay, so I cannot stress this enough. I cannot stress this enough. No one is building muscle by accident. Okay? Nobody is building muscle without intentionally building muscle. Building muscle is hard and it takes a lot of work. You've got to eat in a calorie surplus. You've got to eat plenty and plenty of food. You've got to eat as much as me. And that's like, it's a lot. And you've got to lift, progressively overload over time. You've got to work hard and really, grit through, like push and grit through your workouts. I don't know what I was trying to say, but you know what I mean. So the things that contribute to muscle gain are the gym and your nutrition, not just the gym. So you're saying, do you always need to keep pushing PBs and growing muscle? No, I would say you should always keep pushing for PBs, because we need to keep promoting muscle growth in our body. We need to keep promoting that our muscles should be stronger and that we should have stronger bone density. We can't always just keep lifting the same. The thing that makes a difference in terms of maintenance or muscle gain is your food. So you will not build massive muscles if you control your nutrition. If you are eating in a calorie surplus and you're lifting heavy, you're going to build muscle, okay? And that's still really fucking slow, and well slower than I can even describe to any of you. I think it's been a long time since I've actually built any muscle. The changes that happen to me are mainly fat gain and fat loss. And I'm always striving to lift heavier, but I have kind of reached a point in my capacity where it's really, really hard for me to continue hitting PBs. When I'm at this level of experience, I don't hit a PB every week. I might not even hit a PB every month. And so muscle growth is harder the more experienced you are. Getting stronger is harder once you've reached a certain limit. Like if I can squat my body weight, it's really, really hard to get to squatting 1.5 it, and then it's hard to get squatting to it. Like your muscle growth, the rate of muscle growth will slow down over time. So basically, I know where this is coming from. You have a fear of muscle, let's just put it that way. You are scared of getting big and bulky, and it doesn't matter how many times that I say you can't get bulky by accident, you won't get bulky by accident. This fear is still there for you. And the only thing that you need to remember is, yes, you want to keep getting stronger and you want to keep pushing yourself in the gym, because in order to maintain muscle, we do need to make sure that we're giving it a reason to stay. We need to give it a reason to stay on the body, because we're going to use it. You can't just keep lifting the same. That won't hold the same amount of muscle mass that muscle mass just will get more efficient. You're not just gonna stay the same by lifting the same all the time. So you will always want to continue getting stronger, but it's your nutrition that we need to focus on. If you don't want to build more muscle, then don't eat in a calorie surplus. Like, just eat at calorie maintenance and just keep cracking on at maintenance. But I know with you personally, you go one way or the other. And so we need to make sure that once you're where you want to be, that we really learn how to stick at maintenance and you don't tip back over into that surplus. You said here, I have seen celebrities whose physique I admire share workouts where they are not lifting as heavy as people in our gym. Now, there's different ways that you can build muscle. Okay, there's different ways that you can increase your strength. If you see someone lifting lighter, you don't know what their rep ranges are. Maybe they're doing 8 to 12 rep range, or maybe they're doing 12 to 15 rep range, or maybe they're doing 15 to 25 rep range. All of those, like 4 to 6, any rep range is going to build you muscle when you take it close to failure. Okay, so these people who are lifting lighter, they might just prefer to do more reps, and so they're still going to build muscle. They're still promoting muscle growth if they get close to failure. At Lift and Glow, we go through cycles. We'll do higher rep ranges, 8 to 12, and we'll do lower rep ranges, which we're in right now, which is 4 to 6 on squats and deadlifts. Now, on those 4 to 6 rep ranges, everyone is lifting so much heavier than what we would if the rep range was 12 to 15. And so looking at what someone is lifting actually means nothing, because you don't know how many reps they've done, you don't know how many sets they've done, you don't know what their nutrition is like, you don't know what their goal is like. We are focusing too much on other people. I don't really care if you're looking at a celebrity and you admire their physique, because there's nothing to say that you could ever get a physique remotely like theirs, because genetics plays a huge part in things. We need to think about body shapes and body types, and you also don't know what their everyday life is like. And so I don't think that you should be like, right, I like that person's body, I'm going to train like that, because it doesn't work. Every single woman who is toned and lean is lifting weights, whether they're lifting weights in a lower rep range or a higher rep range, or whether they're doing different cycles of it like we are. You don't know the ins and outs, and you don't know their nutrition either. You don't know if they've got disordered eating. You don't know anything about their life. You don't know if they've got any food freedom. You don't know whether they restrict themselves. You don't know whether their mind is constantly thinking about food. You don't fucking know what's going on in their life. And so fuck other people, and don't compare yourself to other people, and don't set standards based off other people's body. You need to think about getting yourself to a point where you feel good in your skin, and that's going to look different to everybody else. And I really would let go of this fear of building muscle, because you are not going to build muscle by accident. I have a lot of muscle mass, okay? I've been lifting weights for like 10 years, 10 years. I lift very heavy. Anyone who's in the gym with me knows I'm beasting myself in that gym. I also eat so much food. I can't describe. Like, I eat a lot. I am fueling my machine constantly. I don't want to lose weight. I don't want to be small. I want body fat and I want muscle, because I know that makes me strong, energized, healthy. It makes me perform well in work. It makes me feel good. And okay, maybe I look at myself sometimes and think, oh, I could have abs, they've got abs, and then I'm just like, hang on a minute, my value, what I want is joy, it's freedom, it's strength, and it's actual real health. And I know that health requires body fat, and so I choose to be the size that I am. And like, that's not, and I choose to build muscle. I choose to eat nearly 3,000 calories a day. I choose to fuel my body. And I eat more than a lot of men. Like, I eat a lot, and I'm not building this muscle, and the coaches in the gym are not building muscle by accident. And so you're not going to either. So I really, I'm desperate. I want to shake you. I love you, but I want to shake you and just make you let go of this fear, because you're not going to build muscle by accident, and you're not going to turn into the Hulk by accident. Keep lifting heavy. Always aim to progressively overload. You will progress slower the longer that you've been training. You're less likely to add more weight the longer that you've been training. And if you don't want to get bigger, don't overeat. Don't eat above your maintenance. If you want to stay a certain weight, a certain physique, you want to keep getting stronger, promote that muscle maintenance, and you want to eat in maintenance. So once you are done dieting or get to that point, we need to make sure that we work on maintaining, which a lot of people forget. It's the biggest part of long-term results is the maintenance phase, and everyone just forgets about it. Okay, I've really struggled this week, particularly with my eating. As I live at home, my mum cooks many meals, and this week they had unhealthy meals or takeaways, and I joined them in this as I was underprepared with options for food at home. Okay, now this is going to sound harsh, but you have got to take radical responsibility for your own results. So I had a conversation with one of my one-to-one clients the other week about this thing. Like, her husband was automatically making her certain foods, taking care of her, automatically making her breakfast, automatically putting certain portions on her plate for dinner, automatically ordering her dessert at a restaurant that, is lovely. But also, you've got to take responsibility. You need to say, hang on a minute, I need to make different choices here. I need different fuel. So thank you for offering, or thank you for making that, but I need to just adjust the portion sizes a little bit. So I get that you live with your mum. I used to live with my mum, and I just used to speak to her and be like, Mum, I know you're all having this, but I just want a handful of pasta instead of a big fat plate of pasta that she used to do for my brother. I know you're all having curry tonight. I'll just have rice instead of having rice and chips. I know you're all having a takeaway, but I know I'll run the shop and grab myself a healthy ready meal. You're putting your destiny, it sounds cheesy, but you're putting your outcome, your results, your progress on someone else. It's not your mum's fault. It's not your family's fault. It's yours. It's always yours. You choose what you eat. Nobody rams that food down your throat. You choose, and it's up to you to say, count me out of this one, I'll sort myself out. It's up to you to make sure that you get stuff in. We live in the best age ever. If someone says to you, right, we're getting a chippy, you could be like, right, okay, I'll just order a Sainsbury's delivery on Uber Eats or a Morrison's delivery on Uber Eats. You don't even have to leave the house, girls. It's so easy to eat nutritious food, and I'm not accepting that it's someone else's fault. I know you already know this, but it's not your family's responsibility to make you food that is healthy. It's your responsibility. Even if you live with them, it's still up to you. Maybe you take charge of the cooking. Maybe you do your own food shop and let them sort themselves out. When they get a takeaway, you sort yourself out. If you find yourself in this situation again for whatever reason, maybe you don't have money to do your own food shop, or maybe your mum or dad get offended when you don't eat the meals that they're eating, then do what I did and manage the portions. Like I said, when she was doing curry, I'd be like, just rice, no chips, please. When she was doing pasta, I was like, just a handful of pasta instead of, a whole plate of it. Like, you still have a lot of control over what you eat and the portions that you eat. Okay, let's go into some questions. I'm going on a residential trip for 2 nights this week. Food is provided: cooked breakfast, packed lunches, cheese sandwich, crisps and fruit. Cheese sandwich? The heck? Evening meals: spaghetti and meatballs with chocolate fudge cake, and burgers and chips with chocolate ice cream. In the evenings, the head teacher also puts out cheese, crackers, crisps and chocolate. So head teacher puts out cheese, crackers, crisps and chocolate doesn't mean you need to eat them. Again, just because they put them out doesn't mean that you need to eat them. What I will say is I'm actually really pissed off that you work for a school and that you're going on a residential and this is the food. Like, that pisses me off so much. Like, I don't know, just find it annoying. I would try and take some snacks with you. You're only there 2 days, so can you take some yogurts? Can you take some protein bars? Can you maybe pack your protein powder just to have in between these things? Cheese sandwich isn't a big deal. It's not going to be massive. I would say have your cheese sandwich, have your crisps, and then have a protein bar or a protein shake as well to bump up the protein. Cooked breakfast, okay, you don't need to have the works. You could just have a couple of eggs and a piece of toast. You don't need to have a full English breakfast on both days. Again, take radical responsibility for your results. You get to choose what foods you get to eat. So if they've got bacon, sausage, eggs, tomatoes, mushrooms, beans, and toast and hash browns, get yourself a piece of toast, get yourself a couple of eggs, a couple of pieces of bacon, and you're done. Protein, carbs, great, fats, amazing. So there's your breakfast sorted, and then your lunch. The dinner is spaghetti and meatballs with chocolate fudge cake. So have the spaghetti and meatballs and just don't have the cake. Easy. So the next one, burgers and chips with chocolate ice cream. So maybe you'll have a double burger, a small handful of chips, or maybe you can have a double burger and loads of salad and then not have the ice cream. You can still do this. You're still in control. So yeah, choose those options. Um, I've noticed that I feel self-conscious when I make choices that align with my goals. For example, when I went out for a meal with friends this week, I felt a bit embarrassed ordering a lighter option because I worry people might think I'm obsessed with my weight or being restrictive. I almost feel like it puts pressure on me because if I don't lose weight or look noticeably different, I worry people will think she's restrictive with her food and nothing's even changing. Logically, I know people probably aren't paying as much attention as I think they are, but that's something I seem to struggle with. No one cares. In the nicest way possible. No one cares what you choose to eat, and no one cares why you choose to eat it. If you give it a name and give it a reason, you're going to spark conversation. But if you just make the choice. So, for example, if I'm at a meal with my friends and I order a lasagna and the girl next to me orders a pizza and then my other friend orders a salad, I will never think or say, why are you ordering a salad? And no one out of like 10 of us, not one person would be like, why are you ordering a salad? No one gives no one gives a fuck in the nicest way possible. No one cares. No one cares because they're just caring about what they're choosing and what they're having. And you know what? Like, don't start the convo. Just be like, it's just what I feel like. This is just what I fancy. It's not, oh, I'm trying to be good. Oh, I wish I could have that, but I'm going to have this because I'm on a diet. Don't start the convo. Why does anyone need to know what you're doing with your nutrition or why you're choosing a certain meal? No one cares, for one. The fact that you think people care, it's not true. They don't care. And also, like, no one's judging you. No one's like, oh, she eats really healthy, but she's not losing weight. No one's thinking that. Like, I cannot stress this enough. No one's thinking that. And if you do think that they're thinking that, why? Do you think that about other people? If you and I went for a meal and I ordered a salad and a glass of water, what would you think? Would you be like, oh, she's eating a salad and she's not even that small? If you went for a meal with your best friend and she ordered chicken and rice instead of a lasagna, and she decided to have a Diet Coke instead of a glass of wine, would you be like, gosh, she's really like she's chose a shit meal and she's not even thin? I don't think you think that, and if you do, you need to work on your relationship with food choices and weight, and why do you judge other people's weight? Because it's genuinely, that's a you problem, not other people. So yeah, people aren't paying attention to it, but I would just not spark conversation about it. If someone does question your choices, then you just say, this is just what I fancy, just really feel like it. Even if it's a lie, just say that. We can handle a white lie if it means that we don't have to explain ourselves. But like I've said, if I'm sat at a table with all my friends, I am never wondering why they order a salad or why they drink a water or why they wouldn't have a glass of wine or why they're not getting a cocktail. Like, honestly, the nicest way possible, no one gives a fuck. They don't care. And if they do ask, they're maybe just genuinely intrigued because your behaviour's changed from in the past. And all you need to say is, you know what, this is just what I feel like. That's it. While I build up my confidence and form, is it okay to use the fixed barbells for overhand row rather than traditional barbells? Yes, always. So obviously we want the weight to be challenging. So if you're new in the gym and you're just getting used to the equipment and maybe the big barbells are scary for you, or you know the barbells weigh 20 kilo, if you need to start on a lighter weight, that's fine. Use the fixed barbells. If I was in a really, really busy gym and all the barbells were being used and I saw a 50k fixed barbell there, I would use it. It's a barbell. It does the same thing. So yeah, you can use fixed barbells. At my gym, we don't have a hip thrust block that I have at home. So I've tried using the bench, but I find it really awkward. Is it something that I'll get used to? So you can use the hip thrust machine if you want. There's a lot of girls within the community who, when it comes to hip thrust, they'll use the machine because it saves the setup. But we have normal gym benches at the New Lift and Glow, and we just set them to a decline. So you've got flat bench, incline bench, decline bench. If you look on my story, I've actually got a story of me doing hip thrusts, and it's just set to a decline, and it's the perfect position. I actually prefer it than those soft hip thrust benches because they don't move about as much. Okay, we've got two more questions. I've been struggling with my lateral raises. I've been consistently doing this exercise for 9 months, and I'm still struggling with the 5 kilo dumbbells. I have progressed from 3, but it feels very slow. Is there anything that I can do to improve faster on this? So, welcome to the world of lateral raises. Lateral raises, there's actually quite a few funny reels going around about lateral raises, and it is the hardest exercise to progress on. You will progress very, very slowly on them. I'm doing like 7.5s with dumbbells, but again, I'm years into lifting weights. So you'll find yourself staying on the same weight for a long time, and it'll be hard to jump up. So you might get to like 15 reps at 5 kilo. And going up to the next weight feels like a real struggle. What I would say is the only way to get stronger is to try the heavier weight. So you might want to do 5 reps with the heavier weight and then finish the set with the lighter weights. But what I would say is other things that you could do to make this progress increase is go slower. So a lot of people just go really, really fast. They use a lot of momentum in the reps. If you go to the top point and then control it down really slow for 3 seconds, you will find your strength builds faster because you're controlling it more, just adding tempo, which makes the exercise harder. It's always good in a gym when they go up in 1 kilo increments, so you might be able to jump to that 6 kilo, and if the next increment is 7.5, it's definitely a bigger jump, but over time it will happen. This is just lateral raises. It takes a long time to progress on them, and 9 months going from 3 to 5 sounds about right to me. Like, we've got girls in the gym with similar progress and still nowhere near lifting the 7.5s. It's just one of those. It's a very small muscle group, the delts. It's a long lever, the weight's out at the very end of your arm. It's a hard exercise, and so progress will be slower on it. Okay, final question. DOMs. I'm struggling with DOMs. Okay, so do I have any advice for DOMs? DOMs is delayed onset of muscle soreness. So basically, when you exert yourself, when you lift weights, when you train, especially if you've had a break for a while, when you start exercising again, you will experience soreness. If you lift heavier, if you hit new PBs, if you do a bit more volume than usual, you can also feel DOMs then too. And so my advice would be stay hydrated, keep moving, and focus on sleep and your nutrition. So hydration, we want to make sure that we're getting plenty of water because muscles hold on to water while they're sore. So we want to make sure that we're hydrated. That water is going to help them heal. We want to make sure that we keep moving. A muscle that gets stiff is going to have worse DOMs. So make sure you get your steps in. Make sure that you do some light stretching. Just keep yourself moving and try not to sit down for too long. Sleep. Make sure we're getting enough sleep, okay? I know that's hard for new mums to hear, but sleep is very, very important for recovery. And then your final thing is nutrition. Make sure you're eating enough, and make sure you're eating enough protein, and that will help your muscles heal too. Honestly, it's all about time. They're gonna go within. If it's really, really bad DOMs, it might last 3 days, 4 days, but usually you'll only be sore for a day or two. And the more you get into exercise, the more consistent you are with training, the easier it will feel. So I very rarely get bad DOMs. I actually can't remember the time I had bad DOMs to the point where you're struggling with the stairs, struggling with the toilet. I get little bits of tenderness, I feel like my glutes have worked. I feel like I can feel tenderness, but it's not like where you're struggling to lift your arms or struggling to stand up. That goes after a couple of weeks of consistency. So I usually tell new members at the gym to just grin and bear it and push through it, and by week 3 you really won't experience that level of DOMs again. Okay. Also, bad DOMs is also a great reason to stay consistent. I remember some of the worst DOMs I've ever had. I remember sitting there going, I will never ever stop training ever again because I cannot cope with this level of DOMs. So yeah, it's also a good motivator to not take breaks for too long. Okay, girls, that is all. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you found that helpful. As always, please rate, review, comment. It really, really does help. Like, otherwise, I wouldn't bother asking. It makes a massive difference. It helps the podcast get pushed out to more women like you. If you're watching on YouTube, comment, like, subscribe. If you're watching on Spotify, subscribe to the podcast, rate the podcast, and comment on the episodes. That would be absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. Have a gorgeous week. And remember, you're a masterpiece and a work in progress at the same time.